After Thailand and Singapore have just launched the new FE-Generation Civic, many of the Malaysians ask that when will the new Civic come to Malaysia? In this video, I may have an answer for you. I will be comparing the specs for both Thai and Singapore versions to make it out a possible Malaysian spec. Sit back and relax, let's get into the video. First of all, the Malaysian spec Honda Civic FE is scheduled to be launched by the fourth quarter of the year. But due to a serious pandemic here in Malaysia, the plan has to be postponed. By now, we still don't have any news on the actual launch date for the Malaysian market. Hope that Honda Malaysia will bring in the new Civic within this year. Comparing the specs for the Thai version and the Singapore version, let's start off with the engine configuration and the power output. Both cars use the same 1.5-litre VTec Turbo engine. The Thai version Civic has 178 PS and 240 Nm of torque, while the Singapore Spec Civic has only 129 PS and 180 Nm of torque. The reason the Singapore Spec Civic has lesser power is due to Honda Singapore wanted to fulfill the COE Grade-A requirements so that they can lower the government taxes and the selling price. Both cars use the same CVT transmission with no manual transmission option available. Towards some standard specifications. Both have 16-inch alloy wheels as standard, but a 17-inch sport rim is an exception for the range-topping RS spec in the Thai market. Other similar specifications include Honda sensing, keyless entry, leather upholstery, 7-inch fully digital instrument cluster, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. For the center infotainment display, the Thai spec car is sized at 7 inches while the Singapore spec car has upgraded to a 9-inch screen. The Singapore Spec Civic has something that the Thai spec doesn't include. The Singapore spec car gains 60/40 splitting rear seats, center headrest, and more importantly an air vent for the rear. There are some key features for the Honda Sensing bundle which comes in as standard for both Thai and Singaporean spec car. The Advanced Driver Assistance System ADAS includes Adaptive Cruise Control ACC, with low speed following LSF feature. Another safety system from the ADAS package includes Collision Mitigation Braking System CMBS, Front Collision Warning FCW, Lane Keep Assist System LKAS, and a LED Car Departure Notification LCDN. Now, we are going to configure the possible spec for the Malaysian spec car. First of all, the car will be using the 1.5-litre VTec Turbo engine for sure with up to 178 PS and 240 Nm. A CVT transmission will be equipped for the car without a manual option. Honda Malaysia may not bring in the RS version of the Civic due to a higher pricing and a lower demand. A 16-inch rim will be the only size option but may have some other design option, depends on the spec you are going for. Partial leather upholstery and full leather upholstery will be available for the Malaysian spec car depending on the spec you're going for. The Malaysian spec car will be using the 7 inches fully digital instrument clusters like both of our neighbor countries and a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment screen in the center. Honda Malaysia may not cut off the 60/40 splitting rear seats and rear seat air vents. The new Civic will just come with the Honda sensing as standard but not for all specs, possibly on the higher spec cars. For the pricing, the FE-Generation Honda Civic in Thailand starts from 964,900 Thai baht or Rm 122,801, while the starting price for the Singaporean spec car is 122,999 Sing dollar or Rm 383,543. We expect that the Malaysian spec car will start from around 115,000 ringgit and reach the peak price at 150,000 ringgit for the range-topping spec. What do you think about the new Honda Civic? Or do you prefer the previous generation of the Civic? Let me know what you're thinking in the comments section down below.